All right, good afternoon and evening, everyone, depending on where you are. Okay, I'm Dr. Markhan, and we will be having a session on the different types of research that can be done and how you can benefit as a person who is aspiring for a US residency program. And we will have two speakers, Dr. Umar Hayat as well as Dr. Mahwash Siddiqui, who will be going over a few basics, and then we will probably in the middle, we will lay out opportunity that you can avail and be a part of. And we will be going over a few selection criteria also. And you can see if that is something that you can do. And we will first start off with the different types of research and the benefits that you can have in your aim of obtaining a US residency. Just to see who is here. How many people are here from Pakistan, or how many people are here in the US? I think we have 17 people on so far. Okay, Umar is here. Okay, we have Javeria from Pakistan. Okay, so Samid from Pakistan. A lot of people, Vinay from Pakistan, Osama from Pakistan, Karachi, Istiaq, Pakistan. Khatija is here. Okay, great. All right. So a lot of people are in Pakistan. And are you in school right now, or have you graduated? If we can have an idea of who is where and in what stage of the journey are you in right now? Okay, so we have a graduate, Khadija. All right. Anybody in third year, fourth year, just graduated, MS4, recent grad? Okay, good, good, good. All right. Okay, so we are getting more people, okay, graduated. So a lot of people who have graduated and looking now to take part in activities and beef up their CV, for possible for helping out with their CV as well as maybe help out with visas. Okay, graduate from AIMC Lahore, doing stuff to CK preparation. Okay, great. All right, I think we have an energetic group of people here today, and that is always great. Okay, great. All right. So let's start off with let's start with Dr. Umar Hayat. Umar, how are you doing today? All right, Umar, let me see. I think you are on.
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Khan.
Hello, Umar.
I'm
Is it okay if you turn on your video?
yes, I'm trying to.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
there you go.
Excellent. Excellent.
Hi,
All
Dr.
right.
Khan, Dr. Siddiqui. Hi, everyone. Nice meeting you all virtually. Um, so thank you,
Yes.
Dr. Khan, for this opportunity.
Yes, and Umar, good to know. And I know we've done this before, and I think you were in Pakistan in AIMC giving a lecture on a talk on a similar topic. So that's great. Dr. Hayat has been intricately involved in research activities. So hopefully we will benefit from his experience. And Dr. Mahwash, are you there?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm there.
Okay, great, great, great. So Dr. Hayat, let's begin with you first. And can you give us a brief description of your research activities?
Sure. Let me. I want to share my screen, but we'll share momentarily. Um, Again, thanks, Dr. Khan, Dr. Siddiqui, and everyone who's joining. It's a pleasure to be here and talk to you guys. Hopefully, I'll be the source of some help if I can, and I will go from there. We know it's a it's a long journey, especially for those like everybody coming from Pakistan, and there are a lot of other things. And today we're going to talk about research to build how it helps building CV and helping in the residency, because dynamics have been changing and now trends are different than it used to be before. Now people prefer people who are more candidates who are more like academics. So we'll go over that. Um, Let me talk about myself a little bit. I'm a graduate of Allama Iqbal Medical College. I came over here, did my MPH from University of Kansas. And then I recently got my residency at Geisinger Health System in Pennsylvania. I've been involved in different research projects, published some, and now trying to help people if I can in this journey. So let me share my slides if I can, and then we can go over how research is important uh, when somebody's applying for the match season in the United States residency, and how people can get involved and what skills they actually need um, before they can reach out to someone and um, they can be involved in the research projects.
Anybody who is not speaking, please mute yourself. Thank you.
So let me share my screen. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to go over all that.
In the meantime, can anybody say if they have any research experience before? Or actually, we have the screen, so that's good. Okay, excellent, Dr. Hayat, you can continue.
So, and everybody can see that, right? Everybody can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Um, so agenda for today is gonna be, we're gonna be talking about the residency application components briefly. Everybody knows like the most important thing for residency is the scores, that comes number one. But that's not the only thing we basically have in our resume. There are certain other things we can do that includes the research and clinical experience in the United States. That also counts a lot because you get familiar with the US system, healthcare system. That's very important. Um, Talking about the research, we're going to be talking about what research options you people can have, and how basically you can approach with the people, and what skills you have to have before you can jump on any research paper article you can be participating on. So talking about again, I just briefly started about the scores, US clinical experience, research experience, and ultimately getting some publications. Um, when talking about the research, the first most important thing which I tell people who reach out to me regarding research is do something novel, be in the limelight. That basically, in a sense, like you are going to attend like national meetings in the United States, anywhere to build your application. Then you basically make connections by going on these meetings. We will talk about that. How can you get the authorship while working with other people? And that also basically helps with the visa processing as well, because attending these national meetings, it's really easy to get the visa stamped because those meetings, you're going to get the letter that you are overseas and you need to come in person if you are a first author in that abstract, and you will be able to get the visa stamped. And that basically smooths a way for visa stamp, whether you get like for few months, but that's the initial hurdle many people are facing these days in terms of visa. And then comes the interview skills, communication. If you get the interview, how you basically go through it. So these are the all components of research we talk, the residency application we talked about. Here I want to talk about the importance of research.
I'll call you back in a bit, yeah? I might not be able to pay for a bit.
Please
Sorry.
mute yourself if you're not speaking, please. Thank you.
Okay. So these are the stats from ERAS. Tomorrow, that reminds me like tomorrow is a match day, and I wish all those luck who has applied for the match. So this is a 2022 data that basically divides all those specialty parts. And this is the this thing I want to highlight. So on upper top, if you see US IMGs applying for the residency and non-US IMGs applying for the residency. So look at the number of publications they have. So those people who are non-US IMGs requiring visa, that is another thing. And we can go on so many other things. Those are the challenges for non-US IMGs. So the people who have 5 or more publications, those numbers are relatively more getting matched compared to those who has a less number of publications. So you can imagine that's how research is important in terms of like getting matched into the US residency. So many people ask me like how we can get our involved in a research project. So my prerequisites for that is like, if somebody has a previous research experience, worked on a project, highlight that in your resume. Make a different resume for your research experience and possibly involve if you have any publications, write it down. If you send me some CV, I'll definitely look at that. What is the experience of those people who wants to work with me? I mean, these people, I'm one of those actually, but there are many other peoples who are doing research. So they typically they don't have a time to train somebody. So you gotta come with certain skills if you want to join the board, if you want to be on a board. Reach out to everybody. There are some J1 research positions, they're becoming very popular. They need some commitment and dedications. And I believe at this stage, we basically can afford going on a J1 research. And after some time, they get paid as well. Email is the primary method. You can contact people. Again, consider J1 research, AIMCAANA, ChemCAANA, whatever. These are all helping people. So reach out to them. Connection does matter. I can, accommodate certain people. Maybe they are Iqbalians, non-Iqbalians. We can definitely accommodate. I'll explain the projects I'm having these days. So definitely the ideas come and go. I know even the medical students, they come with the best ideas, and we worked on those articles previously. So the best advice I can give people who are starters to start from the case reports. There are meta-analysis as well. That's my specialty, which I do. So the best thing about case reports and meta-analysis is there's no IRB approval involved. In the United States, you have to have approval from IRB if you work in a hospital data. Everybody, I think, knows that. So the things left with are like the case report. So for the starters, the case report is the best thing.
वो मैं भूल गया यार, सॉरी यार, नहीं यार तुझे नहीं जान देना, तू जाएगा 12 बजे.
Shahzad Zafar, mute yourself.
Meanwhile, we have time. So if you have any questions from last lecture, if you have any concern.
So once you get to work with somebody, just show like you are really interested and you are able to work hard. I think that goes a long way. Come up with the idea, as I said. I mean, I know few people who who I'm working with. They basically had a meta-analysis idea because they read the journals, they read the PubMed, and they come up with the new ideas. And we basically work on those, and we submit it for publication in a good journal in the United States. So let's talk about 3 scenarios here, actually. So first scenario is a person, one of those, I expect all of those have excellent scores. So somebody has 0 research and publication, they mostly end up in community program. I'm just talking about generalized things. Many people have matched in the university, but those are the exceptions. But usually it's not the way it goes. Scenario 2 is a candidate with average scores, some research and publications, matches in a community program. And there comes scenario 3, a candidate with average scores, marvelous research experience and publications, and match in a university program. Great chance to match in the competitive fellowships. So here is a difference. You can see scenario 3. If your CV is equipped with so many publications, if you have worked hard in terms of research, you are really an academic person. you may end up matching in a community program, or there are chances you match in a university program, but you have a very good chance you get the competitive fellowships, because if you're academic, people love that you're academic, and you can participate in the health system in terms of like a fellowship in the United States and specialties. My recommendations, that is especially for any institute, like there should be a student mentorship program at Allama Iqbal, King Edward, or any other medical college, and there should be a biostatistician available. And these mentorship programs, the people who are doing research, who are active in research, they should give lectures. They can ask people over here, I'm willing to give lectures over there, so that I can involve those students in the research and tell them this is the starting point you can start from. And then we have a biostatistician, because if most of the people over there in the medical school, they don't know how to do the stats for their projects, and if we have a biostatistician there, they can definitely help them. I'll briefly go over how to write a manuscript. So there are 5 major components of manuscript. If you write case reports, if you write original studies, or if you write meta-analysis, everything starts with introduction. So I just want to give up a couple minutes talk, just telling people, because most of us who in the medical schools, they really don't know how to write the manuscript. And this is not an easy thing to do, by the way. It comes with the time. If you have written certain things, then even then you send some senior authors to edit that, and you go over it again and again. Then it's basically a manuscript you can send to the journal for publications, because we count everything. The journals are very particular about the grammar. They're very particular about the components of the research, what kind of research you're doing. So everything, as I said, it started with introduction. In your introduction, introduce relevant literature in the past. For example, you are writing a paper for regarding a novel technique in cardiology. So talk about that, like this is the literature already available. Tell that why your study is novel, what extra you are trying to do. Highlight that in the introduction part, and then come up with the hypothesis. Like if this device is going to have this effect, or any drug going to have this effect, what are the hypotheses, and then test your hypothesis. So that is all the introduction components. Anybody who is writing the manuscript should know. Then come the material and methods. Introduce your study systems, how you are going to do your study. Explain methods such that the reader could recreate your study. Should be in the simple language, like what you're doing, what kind of drug you're studying, what kind of procedure you are discussing in your study, etc. Then come the results. So objectively state findings of your study, and then take the support of stats. Like if you are studying, if you are comparing those things, then highlight the odds ratio of these two groups which you are studying, like which is better than the other, and also mention that odds ratio with the confidence interval. Then come the discussion part. So the first paragraph discussion usually is a 3 paragraphs, which is acceptable. In first paragraph, just interpret your results, and these are your findings, and this is what you got from your study. And then tie your results back to the literature, like who reported that before, and what is the new in your study which you're going to participate in the literature and in the science. And then I didn't mention here, but then comes like strengths and the weakness of the study. If you think like study has certain strengths, then you can write it down. If there are certain things missing, you can write that in the limitations part. So there's a discussion, as I said, 3 paragraphs as more than enough. Don't go for the long discussions. And then at the end come the conclusions and implications. So that's my presentation. Couple of things I want to go over, which I didn't include in my slides. As I said, start from the case reports, and we have certain projects which are the meta-analysis. Working as a team with my mentors and other people, we can definitely accommodate people if they reach out to us, and they have to have certain skills before they join the project. So my sincere advice is to make a commitment, give your time, work hard, and go from there. I'm open towards any questions. Dr. Khan, if I'm missing anything, please let me
Right.
know.
A good presentation and overview, Umar. So I think one, maybe you can clarify. Definitely these are meta-analysis research projects, and they can be done remotely. And that is absolutely important and helpful in our scenario where most of the people are sitting in Pakistan. And all you need is a computer and know how to do a little bit of stats. So just to step back a little bit, um, so all the people who are watching, you can email Dr. Hayat, and we're going to mention the email address. I think he already showed it, but we're going to write it down in the comments also. So uh, this is a good meta-analysis. What basic skills do they need? How much time consumption per week is possibly required? And in how many weeks or months, what will be the output that somebody could expect who is dedicated, will spend a certain amount of hours doing this? What is the approximate outcome that they can be looking forward to?
Awesome. That's a great question. Well, I remember my time when I was here. I joined the research projects with one of my mentor at Jefferson University. So I started going there, working on the data. And after 1 month, I was asking him, "Hey, did we publish that article?" So that was very funny. Research is a process, and publishing in the US system, it takes time. That's all I'm trying to mention here. So we go the sequence, like what you basically need if you have to jump on a research projects. So you don't need much, just the basics. You have to know the Microsoft Word, Excel file, how to make the Excel files, and then if you put your work hard reading the studies, I'm talking about meta-analysis, because we take different studies together and study the effect together. That's what the meta-analysis is. So you basically you'll be able to extract the data. So you have to have basic skills, like you have to have master in Word file, Excel sheet building, and then data gathering. So those are the initial things which are required if somebody wants to do research, especially on the meta-analysis. But it's a time requiring process itself. It, it might take like 2 to 3 months to extract all the data, put that together and do the analysis, and then you write the manuscript and send it for publication. So if you are involved in a research paper, you have to be there. And meanwhile, you can start other projects, but it takes time. And the honest expectation should be like one article could be published in 4 to 5 months.
Okay, great. Yeah, so basic, what he is saying is you have to get in, you have to be able to put in some time, let's say at least an hour a day, at least an hour a day. And once you get in, you talk to people, you coordinate with people, that will expand. Your experience will expand, your knowledge will expand. Of course, when you initially connect, in the email that you will write, Dr. Hayat, can you, in the text, in the chat, can you provide your email address over there in case people need to reach out? But
Sure.
when you are reaching out, make sure you write a couple of things in the email so we are able to screen you properly, or provide you adequate advice. So in your email, provide any previous research experience. That's one. Then write down what Microsoft Excel or statistical experience, if you have any, please put that there. Then write down, are you able to provide an hour a day to this? Okay. Put down your goals of when are you applying for residency. So there's a time frame. So you have an idea, okay, what you want to achieve. If you have 2 years, okay, then you can play the long game. If you have a single year or maybe half a year, maybe then you're looking to publish an abstract or something similar that can be published in any journal or can be indexed anywhere. So have that in there, and then we will be looking and seeing based on your background and your experience, we will be looking to add you into projects. So, and these are relatively database projects, and you can do it at home sitting in Pakistan. So this is the beauty of this type of meta-analysis type research. Yes, somebody's asking, can medical students also apply? Yes, medical students can apply. The earlier you get into this, the better it will be. Okay, all right. So we'll hold off with Dr. Umar for now. We'll go over to Dr. Mahwash, who has a sample case presentation. So that will help out in understanding, and then we will jump back into your questions. So that will give you an idea about a type of research that you can do and you should do. So Dr. Mahwash, are you there?
Yes, hello everyone. And I would like to thank Dr. Umar Khan for providing me the opportunity to teach everyone whatever I have from the platform of AIMCAANA. Thank you so much. I have a brief presentation and I would be talking about what are different methods of research which students can do, which grads can do, especially those who are overseas, who are not in the US. So after that, we'll talk about how to write a case report, because I think that's the easiest form of research that can be done being a medical student or medical grad. And in the end, I would also give you some references that you can use for learning some of the meta-analysis and how to do some publication and case report. So I would share my screen. Can you see the presentation, Dr. Khan?
Yes, yes.
All right. So first of all, briefly, I'll tell you like what are different types of medical research that we can do. There are primary research and secondary. So primary is basic research that involves animal study, cell culture, test, or any drug development. And mostly it would be done in person. If you are in the US, you can apply for these research, or you can email mentors, as Dr. Hayat has mentioned. And this also includes translational research. And these are like all of the lab test results which we have studied in the biochemistry as well. Second is the clinical studies, which are interventional and non-interventional, like clinical drug trials that has different phases, and non-interventional are observational studies, prognostic, diagnostic, and case report. And today I'll be talking about case report, how you can write that and how you can select a case for writing a case report. I'm sorry. And then epidemiological studies that includes case control, cohort, and cross-sectional studies. And these studies, they also include large data sets which are in the hospital setting that we use. And I think you also need to have in person in order to go with retrospective or prospective studies that include large inpatient hospital data and registries of the hospital data sets. And second research is systematic review, meta-analysis, and narrative review. As Dr. Hayat mentioned, this is also easy as for those students who are abroad, they can go ahead with systematic analysis and review. But I think we would need a separate session for talking about systematic review, as it's very detailed. And you also need to learn some skills and softwares for that. And narrative reviews, they are a less valued or less quality-wise as compared to systematic review, but they can also be done. And the difference is that in narrative review, you are basically narrating what the medical literature is already there in the medical field. And it does not involve a lot of stats or meta-analysis or forest plot. But that's the lowest quantity of narrative review. But at least I would like to mention it here. It's some form of research that you can do, and is something you can add into your CV. So it's also good to look into that as well. So why do we write a case report? It's so basically the goal of writing a case report is basically I'm moving towards the approach that how you would select a case or a patient that you should write a case report about. So the case should be unusual. So the disease or condition that you are considering. I would appreciate if you can mute, please. So the case report, when you are selecting, you are thinking what disease or what condition you should think of. So always think that, is it some new, unusual, or rare condition? Or if we cannot find some rare condition, we should think, okay, is it some unusual presentation of a common disease then okay, we can go ahead with that if it's unusual. And also, we can also select a case that, is it increasing the awareness of the condition in the community, in the public community, and in the physician community as well. And also, we can also think, is the disease or condition we are considering, is it demonstrating a novel treatment approach? Is it some new treatment we tried? Or is it cost effective? Because in the medical field here, we are very pertinent about if some diagnostic or some therapeutic modality is cost effective, we go ahead with that. And also you can think of a case that had some unusual complication of a diagnostic modality or management approach. So these are the points that you will be considering while thinking of a case or while thinking of a patient you saw in the OPD or inpatient setting or on the floors. So briefly, also this will also help you decide what type of case you can select. That case report can be based on your diagnostic modalities. As I mentioned, it can be some unusual or challenging diagnosis, or it can be based on some treatment. It will discuss full management of the case. You will discuss that in your case report, or it can be educational for the mass and also for the physician community. So just briefly, a wrap up, how would you identify a case? How would you select that you want to write a case report on this topic? That has not been extensively researched or published before. And how would you do that? You will do a brief literature review. As Dr. Hayat mentioned, for systematic analysis, we do a literature review, but that is very exhausting, that is very detailed, that is very extensive. But in order to select a case report, as I mentioned in the beginning, that your case report should be something unusual, that should add something to the medical literature. So you need to do a literature review for that. And also you have to see, is it already published? Okay, if it's published, is that disease or is this condition or case, what are the deficiency in the literature? What are the gaps? Is it scarcity of the literature on that topic? And in order to do that literature review, I have some primary literature sources here. So you would be using PubMed, Google Scholar. You can make your accounts there and do literature review. You can use National Guidelines Clearinghouse or Cochrane Library. These are all reliable and authentic links that you would use for your literature review in order to find that what case report you want to write on. So this part of the presentation was about how would you think to select a case report or a case or patient that you have seen on the floors. And for that, you have to be very meticulous while you are working in the hospital. Think of this, okay, this is something unusual. You can talk to your mentors, your senior. Is it an unusual thing? Is it something rare? Is it something that doesn't usually happen often? So you have to be meticulous while you are working in the hospital on the floor, OPD, and think of the case report. And so this is the standard case report format that you will be writing. And this is basically required when you are presenting a case report in a conference or in a presentation. So it will have a title, abstract, introduction, case presentation, discussion, conclusion, references, and acknowledgement. And next in my presentation, I will be briefly discussing, I will be touching upon each and every part of this case report so you know what to write in that. So this is just the poster of a case report that has been presented somewhere. I'm just using it for an example to tell you that in the beginning, you can see we have introduction. We have case description, that is the case presentation, like history, physical exam, lab, what was the outcome, and what were the hospital course of the patient. Then is the discussion, conclusion, and references. And in some part of the poster, you can also give the real photos or pictures of your patient, or if you have any lab studies that were different or unique, or if you have made any chart or any graph, any tables, you can also mention in that. And the purpose of showing you this poster is that so you have an idea that what you are doing when you are writing your case report, you have to touch upon all of these basic points. So this is another poster. This is just an example to show what is case series. So case report and case series only differ in the number of patients or cases you have. Like case report, it includes only one case or one patient. And here you can see this is case 1. And on the right side, this is case 2. So now we have 2 patients who have the same disease or same case of interest, whatever we are considering. So 2 and above, this is called case series. So you can do that as well. And that would be a very good idea if you are going ahead with the case report or case series for a conference or a journal. So the first part, as I mentioned in the poster, is introduction. So what do you write in the introduction? That basically serves to orient the reader and provide a brief background of the subject matter. And important thing is you should use present tense for the introduction. Well, when I'll go forward, I'll tell you that in the case presentation or when we describe the patient history, that should be in the past tense. And why this is important? Because we want a conference, we want journal, they should accept our case report, and every conferences or journals, they have some author guidelines which we need to follow. That's why I am mentioning it here. So you keep in mind that, okay, if you are writing the introduction, that should be in the present tense. And when we are presenting the patient history or exam or lab, that should be in the past tense. So for introduction, we have a funnel approach. Like, what do we write? As I mentioned, that you have to do a brief literature review before starting your case. Now that literature review, that will become handy, and you will use that knowledge for writing the introduction. So in the first paragraph, you will write what is known about the disease, what is already there in the world of literature out there. And the literature search, as I mentioned, the primary sources, you will use that. In the second part, you will write a few lines, what is unknown about that disease or about that case, what is the scarcity of literature about that topic in the medical literature already. And third, you will write down, and this is the most important thing, why you did that study. Why did you select that case or that patient or that diagnostic or treatment modality? Why did you select that to write upon it? So these are the three parts of the introduction you need to include in order to make it an impactful introduction part. The second part, as I mentioned, was case presentation. I'll just go back and show you. So I have talked about this part, introduction. Now the second is case description or case presentation. Now I'm talking about this second part. So the case presentation would describe your case events in the chronological order using past tense. So introduction has present tense and presentation has past tense. Avoid any abbreviations. And if you write any abbreviation, at the end, you have to write down what does it stand for. And along with adding positive findings of the patient, it's important to include any pertinent negatives as well that will help to exclude any other diagnosis. Be specific and use as much objective data as you can. Include any units for all numerical data that you will be putting in, like for labs of the patient, and describe the response to treatment and state the outcome of that case. An important thing here is whether you are in the US or whether you are abroad in anywhere of the world, you need to de-identify patient information. I mean, nobody should be able to put that information into the Google and that patient should come up. No, that's a big no. So you need to de-identify their names, their addresses, phone number, social security, fax number, any ID that can be used to recognize that patient. That is the subject of your case report that must be de-identified. And another important point I would like to mention here, which we usually neglect, that we label the patient while we are writing the case presentation. For example, we say this 35 years old man, diabetic, alcoholic. No, you cannot do that. We cannot label them they are diabetic or they are alcoholic. So what we need to do is 35 years old man who has diabetes. We have to mention it like this as a disease. Do not label that. This is a very minor point, but this is very important to keep in mind. So next is the discussion section. So discussion section is not a very detailed literature review, but here again, whatever the literature search you have done before starting that case report, now you will use that knowledge. You will use that literature search that you have done about your case, about your pertinent disease or condition or diagnosis or treatment modality, whatever the case is about. You have to basically focus on what is unique and significant in your case. This is the basic focus of our case report, that what was unique and significant in your case report that you took the time to think about it, to write about it, to read about it. And also compare and contrast to other similar reported cases which already exist in the literature. You have to compare your case with already existing same diseases or cases that, okay, some of the patient, they present like this. This is the common presentation, and this is already discussed in the literature. But my case is different. Why my case is unique, why it's significant, and why it's contributing into the medical literature. This is important to mention in the discussion part. And also, you will write down how did you exclude other diagnoses in order to diagnose this condition, pertinent or significant disease, whatever you are discussing about. Another important thing, and I'm sure that would certainly make your case report very important, very significant, and conferences and journals would accept that. You have to mention, I won't say you have to, I would say it would be a good idea if you are able to recommend any future recommendation for the researchers and for the practicing physicians. That yes, I have read about this disease. I have gone through so many papers, like 10, 20 papers about this condition. And this is what I found. This was the gap in the literature about this condition. And I would like to mention that this should be studied further by researchers. Like, for example, I had a study in vitamin C, and that was a systematic review. And there were few things I found that, okay, physicians and researchers, they have not studied about topical use of vitamin C in burn patients. So I had some few recommendation for that, something like that. That has not been done before. You would recommend that, and it would definitely include your knowledge. It would include your creativity, your curiosity, and innovation of your thought, that this has not been found in the literature and this can be done. And that would be, of course, better for the sick and patient community management. So this is just another presentation of discussion. How would you write in the discussion? Importance and magnitude of the problem, and define any knowledge gaps you found in the literature that is not mentioned already about the disease or case. And you would mention why your case is unique or novel, or why it's different from already knowledge that is already present there. Why your case is valuable. Does it have any teaching point for students? Does it have any teaching point for physicians, for researchers, for mass community? So think of all of these unique and different points and try to incorporate that into your discussion part. In the end, we write down conclusion, that is basically take home message from the case report that you have written. Focus on the teaching point again, suggest any direction for future study for researchers and physicians, and give any follow-up information of the case that was not presented earlier in your case report. So that was basically, again, I'll go back to this example so you understand what I have talked about so far: introduction, case description, discussion, and conclusion. And these are the references that you use. And in the end, I would give you some links how you can cite those references into your case report or publication or manuscript. So other thing is, when you submit a case report or any study to journal, you write down an abstract and title that should be interesting and catchy. So I will just go over abstract, how it should be. So again, important thing is you have to go to the website of the journal or the conference where you are submitting. And they always have some guidelines, what should be the font size, font spacing, word count. So you need to follow that, otherwise it's going to be rejected. So abstract is basically a condensed summary of your case. And why I'm mentioning it at the end of all of the steps of case report, because now you will have a very concise, very brief idea of, okay, what you want to write about, what you came up with the idea, what was the basic thought of your case report. So that would be a very good stage, very good step at that point after you have written all of the case report. You can concise that knowledge into the abstract. And keep in mind that this is what will be indexed in the PubMed if your work is published. So it should be very, I should say, crisp. It should have some very concise wording, brief, very to the point, and it would be on the PubMed. So everybody around the world would be able to open it and read it. So it should have a good grammar, good wording, and it should have a good content, basically. And it will be the easiest to write this last and closely follow the journal's author's guidelines, as I mentioned before. So next is the title. So titles should be very specific and interesting and catchy, but keep in mind, it should be specific. You can mention name of the disease in the title, that whatever you are studying. You can mention the population, whether they were female, male, children, whether they were based on their ethnicity, African American, or you included Caucasian, or you included Spanish people, you can mention that. And you can state why your study is unique. What is something that is not already in the literature? Or if it is already there, what was the different thing that you found in your case and you took the time and you bothered to do all of this thing to write about this? So keep it specific, keep it brief. Don't give away all of the information in the title. Let the audience interest. So they should go ahead and read your abstract. Be careful about catchy phrases and puns. If you must consider any catchy or funny things or phrases, keep it as a subtitle. And this is just a brief overview of whatever I have just talked about. In a case report, what are the key parts? Abstract, introduction, Then you will write the case presentation that include history, exam, diagnostic, treatment, and hospital course of the patient and what was the outcome. In the discussion part, you can mention epidemiology, pathophysiology, diagnosis, treatment, prognosis, and prevention. Then you will write down conclusion, that is the take-home message from your study and references. So these are the links which I was talking about. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this. These are very useful. This is basically for citing the literature that you have read before writing the case report. You can use EndNote. I use it very often. It's very convenient to use. You can use EndNote for systematic analysis as well. RefWorks and Zotero. I use Zotero for citing my manuscripts. Very convenient. For that, you need to have you need to download the articles that you have read. You will add those articles into the Zotero software, and it will make a citation. And also another important point I would like to mention is that some of the journals and conferences, they have a specific style of citation. Like mostly there's a long list of citation style. So you have to also consider that what is their style that is required. And mostly they use AMA, American Medical Association citation style. So you can select that from Zotero. On the right side, you can see these are some useful resources for manuscript publishing that would be really helpful for you. You can note them down if you want. And as this is the age of artificial intelligence, we have lots of software from where we can copy and paste in a fraction of a second. But no, we cannot do that. We need to check our writing for plagiarism and text recycling ethics. You can go to this link and you can check in case if you have done any copy paste, then you can check this. There's an online plagiarism self-check program, writecheck.com. You can use there as well. So most important question is, how do we find a journal? Where do we send it to publish it? So again, you can take screenshot of this as well. So what you do is you go to the link and you have to copy and paste your title and abstract that you have already written. So this software will catch all of the words in the title and abstract, and it will come up with a long list of journals which are compatible with your study subject. For example, if somebody has written a case report about orthopedics and you don't know where to send it, so you will copy paste your title and abstract, and it will come up with, for example, 10 there is a list of 10 journals, and the ones which are on the top, they have the highest probability of accepting your study. So that's very helpful. I always do that. So, and it's very, I would say, very satisfying and very gratifying to see that, okay, my study, I can send it to like 10 journals. There is a possibility. That's very satisfying moment when I see that. And these are the references which I use for making this presentation as well. And thank you so much. And those who have met result tomorrow, good luck, all the best. Any questions I would take?
All right, thank you so much. This was very detailed, very helpful, especially the part where you showed the poster. So that basically describes how it looks in a way, all those posted presentations. And the similar thing is an abstract. Okay, we have a lot of questions, so we will try to get to some of these. I think one of the main questions that people had, just to step back just a little bit. So Dr. Hayat, he provided his email earlier. Dr. Hayat, you can provide an email. You can leave your email again in case people missed it earlier on. So you need to provide of course, your name, your background, college, university. Are you a student? Yes or no? Are you graduated? What has been your past research experience? How much time can you commit? He's looking for around 1 hour a day from you. 1 hour a day. How much time you can commit? What are your goals? Are you applying for this match, next match? When are you applying? So he can see how much you will be able to produce, and he will guide you on what type of project to potentially put you on. Of course, put down what has been your experience. Do you have Excel experience? Do you have putting in using SSPS or any accounting any software, Graph Prism, GraphPad? Have you used any of these programs? Provide all of that in and describe if you have any research experience. That's going to be very important. And then Dr. Hayat will go over and see what who can do what and which skill level needs what. So he will. So it's a lot of all of this was a lot. I agree with that. So, but what you need to do is you need to not overwhelm yourself, because he will guide you, or he will tell you initially what to do. He will tell you initially what to do, and you can, of course, ask him questions. And then there will be work that you, of course, will need to do. He will tell you the basic things that you need to work on, and hopefully this process will continue and you will get a handle of it. All right, so do email Dr. Hayat, and he will be he put his email address there again, so please have a look at it. Of course, don't spam him. If you're not interested, you're not serious, please do not, waste his time. Okay, he's a very important guy, very busy, and he has his own family and everything else going on in his life. Please be very careful of his time. All right. And Dr. Mahwash had an excellent discussion around how to do a case report, a case study. You can do that sitting in Pakistan. Very easy. You have so much pathology in Pakistan. You can publish articles left and right. You can publish case reports left and right. But of course, it has to be done right. And of course, Dr. Mahwash is always available on the group chats and in the WhatsApp groups. But of course, again, don't waste your time. Have a question. Be very, very reasonable in your questions. Have the knowledge. Have a knowledgeable question to ask, so you get a good response. All right. So one question that everybody had was how to get into research. Of course, we are giving you this opportunity, but how to get into research otherwise if it wasn't for this opportunity. I'll share mine. I'll have Dr. Hayat speak about how he got into research. Then I'll have Dr. Mahwash explains how he got into research. We will try to be very, very short because time is short and everybody has things to do. So I got into research. I made my research CV. I made a research CV title directed towards research, and I went on almost every university in the East Coast. I first started in New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Washington, D.C. And this is where the major research universities are, at least on the East Coast. And I looked at each and every researcher, looked at their profile, put in 2-3 custom lines about, I love your research project. I think I'm surely interested in this. This is my background, and this goes in line with my goals as well. I'm dedicating myself for 6 months, or I'm dedicating myself for 1 year. I can do remotely, or I can be in person, and I have this research skills and experience. Please let me know. I have my CV attached. I would love to hear more from you. This is my phone number and WhatsApp number. Please reach out to me. And I will also be sending you a follow-up. So you have to have a template, but in a way you are customizing the template. And honestly, I had to do this for at least 150 people, customizing, spending time. People send out messages and emails with poor English, poor grammar, grammatical mistakes, spelling mistakes, and anybody who looks at it, they delete that message right away. Make sure and these days so easy. You have ChatGPT. You can always tell ChatGPT, hey, fix any grammatical errors or punctuation errors in this email. ChatGPT will fix it for you. You have no excuse to send out an email where there are grammatical errors in it. Okay. Of course, we all know Pakistani English, but that doesn't help us. So we need to have reasonable English. So you send out 100, 150 customized emails. You will get 2, 3, 4, 5 responses maximum. And I interviewed with 3 of them, and I got one position. It was a volunteer position. I was working for them for free for 3 months. And then they said, okay, this guy has some skills. They put me on a paid position. I was getting $50,000 for the year, and I ended up doing 2 years of research with them, and they also increased my pay. So it depends on you how much effort you put into these things. And yeah, that's the short process. Dr. Hayat, how did you get into research in the US?
Awesome. So the process is same. You basically start searching for the people. Depends like what field you are interested in. So I was interested in gastroenterology. I want to do that research. So find out the people, figure out by just Googling it. If you go to the Google University link, then go to faculty, the chances are you're going to find the email address over there. So as Dr. Khan said, make a customized email, the good one, don't that doesn't have any grammatical mistake. Just briefly mention that these are my skills, and have a specific research-oriented CV. If you don't have publication already, it doesn't matter. Just mention your skills and your commitment that you are here or you are in Pakistan and you are available to work. And you're going to get some responses, I guarantee you. And the other important thing getting research is the connections. Reach out to the people from your med school, from the contacts you have. Email them and show the interest that you are interested in doing the research. And if they can help you, they will definitely do that. So to me, these are the two platforms, connections, that matters a lot. And number two, just randomly email. And I would also say I have seen that many people who got the J1 research, that's becoming very popular these days. There are um, many difficulties getting that, and then coming over here, because it's most of the time, if you start with, it's unpaid. So you have to invest in that. That's the most important thing. But I have seen people who got J1 research that's unpaid. After 1 year, they usually get some stipend, but the chances of getting matched is really high, because first, your visa hurdle is gone. You are sitting here in the United States. Number two, you're working with somebody who can write a letter, who can vouch for you, and give you the letter of recommendation. Um, so just to put some money in it, I mean, again, it's not easy, but I have seen people matching, coming through that route. I know University of Louisville in Kentucky, and people coming to Harvard. There are a lot of positions that they don't give any stipend, but they just join for the sake of like a visa hurdles, without any pay. And then after working 1 or 2 years, they get match in residency. So that's also important. And again, that research experience is your experience that goes for life with you. And if you get some publication, that also goes into your CV, that further help you not only in residency but getting a fellowship. Because these days the average number of publication to get into residency, I've shown you like 7 or 8 for non-US IMGs, and for fellowship you can imagine it goes in 20s for the competitive fellowships. So in that perspective, it's very important.
All right, Dr. Mahwash, can you go over briefly how you got into research?
Yes, so my scenario was a little different. I did not require visa, so I do not have any information about that. And secondly, I lived in Chicago, so my interest was only to apply into the programs that were in the Chicago. So the basic mode was the same as Dr. Khan and Dr. Hayat has mentioned. You have to email. So the universities, whatever I had universities in the Chicago, I emailed the physician regardless of the specialty. So I studied my translational research in University of Chicago in the Department of ENT, where I worked on animal models, gorilla, mice brain, and all that. And good news for those who do not have any research experience is that I had zero research experience. I had come here from Pakistan. I didn't know how to do research. I even didn't know what an abstract is, what a manuscript is. So don't be disappointed. Don't be hopeless with that. But what I had was I had the passion, I had the will, and I was ready to work whatever I could get, and I did it. And I think the main mode would be to go to the website of the programs. You can select the specialty of interest, find out the physicians who are involved in the research, look at their portfolio, and in the email mention that I'm interested in whatever project they are doing, and I have the interest in continuing my career in this field. So that would be a really plus for them. And because now this is the age of competition, everybody is learning research, everybody is learning new skills. So I cannot say that you do not have any skill and just go ahead. No, you need to learn. You need to put your effort. Go through YouTube channels. There are a lot of resources, reliable resources. You can learn research skills. I have learned everything myself. You can learn stats. You can learn systematic review. You can learn all of these things by yourself if you have a good internet connection, if you have a laptop. But the important thing is, would you mind muting, please? Thank you. So basically, you need to have a passion and will and do some search, use reliable sources, go to YouTube channel. Even when I had to do a systematic review, I read a whole bunch of papers, how systematic review is done. So it took me 1 year for my first systematic review to be published. So you need to learn yourself. It's a self-motivation. And meantime, contact the researchers who are involved in some projects. And what I know is deadly they are in need of help for their research projects. Everybody is after that. And in my scenario, my research fellowship, postdoc research fellowship was unpaid in the Cook County Hospital, but I worked that. I didn't care about that, and I worked, I learned everything, and that went very well. So you need passion, you should have a desire to learn whatever you want, and I am hopeful, inshallah, you will go where you want.
Great, great, excellent. So yeah, definitely. So people have a few questions. One person is saying he cannot find any researchers. So I just at the background did a quick search. Let me share my screen. Okay. So how easy it is to find researchers. I put in Google NYU research. Okay, I found a link. In 2 seconds, I found a link. And okay, research. Our research helps translate breakthrough biomedical search faculty, name, research area. Now you're here now. Now you can find people. This is NYU. Go to Harvard, go to Yale, go to any university out there, and you can find people. So this is very easy. Faculty, look over here. Faculty, you can find faculties, faculty affairs, departments, insights. They will probably have their phone numbers also. Orthopedics, cardiothoracic, cell biology, child and adolescent psychiatry. So you have people here. You can find emails here. You'll find phone numbers here. So it's so easy to do this. So there's no excuse. It's just one is university. In two seconds, you can find all your emails that you need. Okay, so stop sharing. All right, how do you stop sharing? Crap. Anyways, yeah, so that's one. Second, what's the other question? Paid and unpaid. So if you have good research experience, it will be, you can say, it depends on how desperate you are or what you need, right? You want anything, you won't worry about it. When I was doing for free volunteer work, I was working at night at gas stations or flipping burgers. Okay. So then I left that when I started to get paid. So you have to put in the effort. And you have to do a couple of these things. This is not a big deal. And sometimes people do work for free. I know people with low scores who got into neurosurgery. They spent 2 years in research. So it depends on you, depends on how you're motivated. And that guy did not get any money. He was not getting paid. So yeah, just keep it in mind. How do you unshare the screen? Anyways, okay, so any other question? If somebody wants to ask a question, they can unmute themselves and they can ask a question straight. Okay, anybody wants to ask a question?
Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. AIMCAANA here. Thank you so much, Dr. Mahwash and Dr. Umar. Can I ask a question?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Since Dr. Hayat mentioned at the start that we should have a biostatistician in our program when we are researching, is it always necessary for a project, or does it help if we ourselves start learning statistical analysis skills in other languages such as R and Stata out of interest, obviously?
So the question is, do we need always biostatistician, or we can do the stats ourselves? Is that what the question is, my understanding?
Yes, mostly that. And secondly, is it helpful if we start learning statistical softwares, not just others like softwares like Zotero, but things like R and Stata that are taught to probably master students in their courses?
Sure. The first thing is for clinicians, the most important thing is not to learn the stats. It's extra. Yes, you have extra skill if you can. But the most important thing is to come up with the idea. So if you talk to your attendings wherever you're working, professors in your department, and come up with the idea regarding your research, just put that on the paper. Write a short proposal, your hypothesis, what you're looking for. So that's the first step you can do. I mean, it's good if you learn stats by yourself, but if somebody does not know that, it's really hard for clinicians to be a statistician, then it's okay. You can take the help from any biostatistician. And most of the time, biostatisticians know better. They do a good job.
I would like to add something here, if you don't mind. I think learning stats is definitely, as Dr. Hayat mentioned, is an extra skill. And during my research fellowship, I have learned SPSS, myself with my seniors and with my colleague. And if you know that, you know, it's so easy. It's so easy to do statistician. You just have to put all of this work of statistician. You just need to put that in the software, and MLR. You can do multiple logistic regression analysis, bivariate analysis. There are lots of analysis that you can do by yourself just by putting the data. So I would highly encourage that learn whatever software you can, whether it's SPSS, Strata, R, Python, anything. I mean, this is a digital age. All of us need all of these things if we are
Right.
into research. So please go ahead with that.
Yeah. So quick summarization of that would be, if you want to watch 1 or 2 YouTube videos on meta-analysis in medicine, meta-analysis in healthcare, watch a few videos so you can at least acclimatize yourself with a couple of the terminology and words. So this, of course, this opportunity, a wonderful opportunity if you're serious with Dr. Hayat, who you have a mentor in you to help you through this. If you're dedicated and you really want to get this done, then this is the best way to do it. Somebody's there who will, hold your finger to get you going. So keep that in mind. So when you message him, make sure you have all the details so he has a great idea about what you are into and what you want and what are your goals. So he can adjust what he needs to give to you based on your goals. Okay. So that's one. Second, people are asking, paid research is a big question. People are asking, how can people do get paid research? Yes, if you already have experience, you can say, when you send your emails, people will know this person is valuable. I need this person because of I need his skills, and they will pay you for that. Okay, if you don't have skills to begin initially, I mean, everybody starts off somewhere, right? If you don't have skills, that's fine. That's how you do things voluntarily, and you gain skills. Then people will want to pay you. Second, and at the NIH website, they have NIH bulletin boards, research bulletin boards. They have research opportunities there. They have postdoc research fellow opportunities over there that come, and you can search that, and you will see the type of experience that they are requiring, and they will be mentioning how much is going to be your pay and all that. So that's one avenue. If Dr. Hayat or Mahwash knows any other avenue that they can get research, other paid research otherwise, they can share as well. Then there's a question about okay, what is this? So many questions here. Um, that how much research do you need to get into residency? Well, the better, the more solid research you have, that's great. Okay. One thing I think I mentioned at the beginning of this talk about the path moving forward. So whenever you get attached to a research project, the first thing for you will be to, of course, do a little bit of work, do a little bit of statistical analysis, and write an abstract. That will be your first thing to do. From the abstract, that's just going to be on a piece of Microsoft Word paper. From that abstract, you will look at, okay, where should I publish this abstract? There are going to be different universities or different events where they're looking for abstracts for people to submit. You will submit to that university, and that's going to be an easy process. Dr. Hayat will tell you exactly how that's done. Very, very easy once you get into it. And you will, if they accept, then you will write a poster. You will develop a poster just like Dr. Mahwash has shown. That is like an example of a poster. So most likely this will be your track moving forward. And if any of this is published or they accept your abstract, you can add it to your CV. You can add it to your ERAS website. You can add it to your regular CV. Slowly and steadily, you will develop your skills and develop your experience like this. And that's how it's going to progress. If you're really, really good, you can come up with a great idea. You're great at writing. Maybe you can write a full paper. So what Dr. Hayat will be doing, he will be the principal investigator. In this list of whenever you publish an article, there's first lead author, second author, third, fourth, and then at the end, there's a principal investigator. So he will be your principal investigator. So he will be helping you, but of course, you will have to do some of the work yourself. Okay, so that's a few things that people have asked. Okay, can you do research without USMLE steps? Yes, of course you can do it. You can do it in first year, second year, third year, fourth year, medical school, anytime you want. You just have to be able to, you want to do this. Like most people here don't have the skills. You necessarily don't need to be a graduate or USMLE to do this. Okay. Any other pertinent question? I know there were so many questions. Anybody has a question they want to come on, because there are a million questions. I can't get to all of them. You want to come on to the chat, onto the unmute yourself and you can ask a question.
Uh, Hello, Doc.
Yes, please introduce yourself and what is your question?
I'm Dr. Siri. I pursued my OB/GYN residency in India and now I cleared USMLE and I'm looking for research opportunities. So I have heard that there is a clinical research fellowship for a 1 year duration. So for that we need to fund ourselves. Like what is the role of it? Like, will it be helpful? Because when I was searching about OB/GYN research projects, I couldn't find many.
Well, I think it depends on where did you hear about it? If you there must be a website or there must be somebody had a post that this opportunity is open. But again, if you're not able to find that listing again, and you are in gynecology, then of course the same process. You have to go to university websites or go to their websites and find all the researchers there and see what type of work they're doing and send them customized messages that, hey, I am highly motivated. This is my background. This is my skill level. And I am available for this many hours. I can do in person or I can do this remotely. Please let me know. Please let me know, and I will love to chat with you further about any opportunity that you would have. I would be an active participant and hopefully help out with your research projects. So yeah, I think you should proceed like that. Yeah. All right. So
Which department should we contact in Cook County University regarding research projects?
okay, so if you're for gynecology and obstetrics department, then just message them if they have a phone number, it's a program coordinator, just give them a call. Hopefully they pick up. If they don't pick up the first time, call like 5 times. Hopefully somebody picks up, and if somebody gets on the phone, they will be able to let you know, okay, yes, okay, we can help you out. No, we can't help you out. So at least you have an answer. So if you're into gynecology ops, then just go all in. Uh, this is what people say, that salespeople, they have to make around 200 phone calls a day to get two people to respond. So it's same thing here. You have to call as much as possible and reach out as much as possible to get few people to respond to you. Anybody else? If somebody has research experience and skills but has zero publications, should we still email Dr. Umar? Okay, well, yeah, you're probably better than somebody else who has no research experience and no skills. But maybe with your research experience and skills and his mentorship, you are able to get some publications. Yes, if you don't have, so yeah, that will be the answer. All right. If we write a case report here, can we submit it to US journals or potential publications? So yeah, basically somebody is in Pakistan or somewhere else and they want to publish something in US journals. Well, you can definitely do. Everything is online. What you have to do is, if you don't know about a journal, maybe your professor knows about certain international journals and ask them, hey, do you know any particular international journals? If they don't, just go online yourself and look at case report journals, major US case study journals, and find them. They will always have a criteria of who they accept, what type of publications they accept, and just see if you meet the criteria. Or improve your write-up, improve your abstract, improve your case study to meet their standards and submit it to them. Maybe they accept. If they don't, doesn't matter. Submit in Pakistan or anywhere else. That's fine. Okay. Yes. Okay. All right. All right. So, okay. So, how do you Google universities? I think we discussed. Okay. Or any other question? Anybody else wants to come on and ask their question? Otherwise, we may call it a day. All right, I think we are good. Thank you so much, Dr. Mahwash, Dr. Hayat. Wonderful having you guys, and hopefully people have some new messages. New messages. Let's see. Okay, how can one add their published abstract or post in a CV? Oh, if you have published your abstract, it's indexed anywhere. What you do is you just copy paste the title, the authors, where it is published, date, that's it. That's your entry into your CV. Very, very easy. Okay. I have published systematic reviews and narrative reviews, have experience in SSPS and learning our software these days. I'm looking for research fellowship in GI cardiology. If anybody leaves, please appreciate. Okay, all right. Stay in touch. I think there are WhatsApp groups here. And if it is it necessary to have research experience in the same field as when you're applying? Well, depends on, yeah, if you say, okay, I want cardiology, then you find researchers, you go to all those websites, you find researchers in your field who are doing research, go to basic sciences research as well as clinical research. Find those people and express your interest, express your background. If you've already done a little bit of cardiology training in your country of residence, explain all of that, provide all of those details so they know, okay, this person is genuine. It's not gonna waste my time. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay. All right. Ooh. Okay, okay, somebody has a question. Okay, Bayan Zafar, you have a question? Okay, let me mute Bayan Zafar. Okay, let me mute. Okay. All right, anybody else has a question? All right. Okay, one more. Somebody has a message. Okay, no, thanks. All right. All right, I think we are good. Thank you so much. Yeah, we will look to have further sessions. It seems this is a lot of people are interested in this topic, and we will get this first batch of people who are contacting Dr. Hayat and see how it goes. And hopefully we will improve our own procedures and hopefully help as many people as possible. Anyways, thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you, Dr. Hayat and Mahwash. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure
Thank
being
you.
here. Thank you.